In Toronto. Last chance for the Cavs. Evan Mobley was great in this game. 3 for the win. Just short. We will have a Game 7 between the Cavaliers and Raptors. 112-110, the final. How about Scotty Barnes, man? He has really elevated his play in the playoffs. 25 points, 14 dimes. RJ Barrett almost a double-double with 24 a night. Also, how about Jacoby Walter with 24 and 5. James Harden, just 16, 9 and 9. I mean, almost a triple-double, but not able to have enough in the end. The Raptors get the win by 2. Time now to bring in CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez. And John, this is why we love sports, okay? I'm feeling like I'm all in love with the game of basketball. The Raptors, they blew, right? They blew a double-digit lead where they had control. But in the end, shades of Kawhi Leonard, RJ Barrett getting the friendly bounce. How do you wrap your head around what we witnessed there out in Toronto, man?
Yeah, there's something about those rims in Toronto when the Raptors need a big shot. I was in that building when Kawhi Leonard hit his legendary 4-bounce shot against the Sixers in the second round. They go on to win the NBA championship. I would be surprised if the Raptors win the NBA championship this season. But man, what a shot by RJ Barrett. I mean, the Cavs really sagged off of him. They were on the half-court offense. Half-court offense, not their thing, but they walk into this 3, and they're forcing a Game 7. And credit to the Raptors, man. I did not think that they would get anywhere close to playing at the Cavs level in this series, and they're all tied up.
And what does it say about this Raptors team, John, that they did it without one of their best players in Brandon Ingram?
Yeah, 2 of their best players, really, because they haven't had Emmanuel quickly
right.
either. And Brandon Ingram, he wasn't very good to start this series. And then he's out with in this game with a heel injury, and we'll see whether or not he's available for Game 5. But yes, I thought for sure it was going to be a little bit of a struggle for them to generate offense. Well, here comes Scotty Barnes with 25.7 rebounds, 14 assists. He just took over the playmaking duties and the scoring duties. And on top of that, he was an incredible defender tonight, playing at both ends of the floor. And RJ Barrett, who I think has been maybe not much maligned, but has been one of those guys where in New York, he didn't really live up to expectations, gets traded to Toronto, had, I think, one of his best seasons as a pro this year. And certainly in this series, they have needed all of his offense. But then you're looking at guys like Jacoby Walter and Colin Murray-Boyles who step in and they needed offense tonight. Well, they get 24 out of Walter and 17 out of CMB. And for them to be up 15 and then lose that lead and then go to overtime and the Cavs are leading and you're thinking, okay, this is probably it for the Raptors. It was a fun run, but the Cavs are the better team. They've got more players. They've got more offense. And the Raptors never gave up on this thing. And yes, they got a little lucky on that last shot, but sometimes the Canadian basketball gods smile on you.
Well, yeah, because remember, the Cavs turned it over. Raptors shouldn't even had that shot, but the Cavaliers, they were not focused. They were not locked in on that possession when all they had to do, keep control of the ball and get fouled. And instead, we have a Game 7. So looking ahead to Game 7, John, who do you put your odds on to win this game when you think about how they've been playing the last couple games?
Well, it's really been who's at home has ended up winning these games, right? I mean, all the home teams have won. But I'm glad you called out that end of a game scenario there where Schroeder got across the half court and all he had to do was stand there, and instead he throws the ball to Evan Mobley, who wasn't ready for it, and he fumbled it out of bounds. So when we're talking about who's playing better right now, the turnover issue for the Cavs is legitimate. Tonight they had 18 turnovers that generated 25 points for the Raptors. The Raptors have a theory of the case, and that is they're going to turn you over. They're going to generate offense that way because they're not great generating offense when they don't do that. And then also they're going to own the fast break points. That's how they're going to get their points. The Cavs, on the other hand, they're looking at their main guys, right? It's Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and Evan Mobley, who are 3 better offensive players, really, than anything the Raptors have to offer, with apologies to Barnes and RJ Barrett hitting their game-winning shot tonight. And in their losses, the Cavs, all on the road, right? 100 points, 104 points, 89 points. And then tonight they needed overtime to get to 110. Whereas at home, they've scored a minimum of 115, and they've gotten over 125 twice. So if I'm the Cavs, I'm thinking, okay, look, we haven't played that great when we've gone to Toronto. Toronto's a really good defensive team. They needed a lot of luck tonight. They had to go to overtime to beat us. We're going to be back in our gym. It's unlikely that our 3 guys are not going to shoot the ball well again tonight. they weren't terrible shooting the ball. They weren't great from beyond the arc, just 27%, but they're so much better at home. So I generally lean home team in game sevens, and that's the way I'm going for this one too.
Yeah, and after all, the Cavaliers have won 4 straight game sevens, so they do have that going for them. Unbelievable. Cannot wait to see how it's all going to shake out between the Raptors and Cavaliers in the first round. Now, how about in the other Eastern Conference matchup, Orlando versus Detroit, John? Orlando up by as many as 24 points, okay? And the Pistons dog-walked them, where they went on a 35-4 run at one point in the second half, and they end up winning by double digits. Can you process what we watched there? Because I'm still flabbergasted at what we witnessed in that game.
Yeah, I think the Magic are flabbergasted too. I mean, the Pistons just kept coming, right? They were slow and steady. Took them a while to get going. Another good game for Cade Cunningham, who had a double-double and played great defense too. Let's not overlook that part. He played at both ends of the floor. But really, this was a failure of the Magic, who have been an offensively challenged team forever, right? I mean, this year, they ended up with as 18th in offensive rating, which is the first time they've been out of the bottom third in like well over a decade. Well, in this game, as you mentioned, they're up 24, right? And then they just could not get a shot. They only score 11 points in the third quarter. They only had 8 in the fourth quarter. They went on one stretch, Chris, where they were 0 for 23 on their field goals.
Say that again. Say that again.
23 straight misses at the playoff record. In real time, they went 45 minutes of actual real-world minutes without a bucket, right? That is the largest blown playoff lead and a potential clincher in NBA history. This was an historic collapse. If you're the Magic, that is going to be the longest plane ride to Detroit ever. I mean, I don't know how they recover from this because, like I said, Paolo Banchero, terrible tonight shooting the ball, 4 for 20 from the floor, missed all 9 of his threes. Desmond Bane started out hitting some shots. What happened? They threw a Sar Thompson at him, and then all of a sudden he vanished. And then beyond that, forget about it. They got no offense, especially without Franz Wagner. So that is not only going to be in their head, but I don't know how you game plan for, we got to figure out how to make buckets, because clearly they have a hard time doing that.
So let's say for game 7, they don't have Franz Wagner. How do they generate more offense to make sure they don't put themselves in this position again? Or are you leaning saying, oh no, Detroit, they have it in the bag because now they go back to their home court and they have all their fans behind them and the Pistons are going to get it done?
I would expect that the Pistons feel great about this because these two teams are very, very similar, right? And the way that the Magic have won games previously in this series was playing great defense, turning the Pistons over, creating points off of turnovers, and then getting points in the paint. Both of these teams want to do those things. Both of these teams want to own the offensive and defensive glass. And well, what happened tonight? The Pistons were much better in terms of their turnovers. Cade Cunningham cut it down to 4, which was actually pretty good for him in this series. They owned the points in the paint, the Pistons did. They owned the glass. And then they end up just slowly wearing down the Magic. And the Magic, not a good shooting team to begin with, just 25% from 3 tonight, 35% from the floor. That's abysmal. How do they get offense? I mean, you're going to have to play through your defense and generate turnovers and turn those turnovers into points, but I'm not sure that that's going to be enough. I mean, Paolo Banchero, I've been critical of him for much of his career. This was a good example of why tonight. And a night when your team is slowly fading away, can't find a field goal, he was chief among the guys that were the main problem. He's supposed to be a superstar in this league. Forget about it. I mean, without Franz Wagner by his side, it was easy for them to key on him. And Desmond Bane, they go and trade 4 first-round draft picks for him. Well, there's only so much he could do. He was fine tonight, I guess, but they have so many problems. So, yes, if I'm the Pistons, Cade Cunningham, Tobias Harris has been overlooked in this series. He's been really good offensively. Asar Thompson can't score just like his brother, but he does everything else. He was locked down defense tonight, hitting the boards, running the floor. Fantastic. Yes, I'm leaning Pistons. They should feel good about themselves going into Game 7.
And that would mean we would have the same result that we had back in 2003 when the Magic went up 3-1 on the Pistons and ended up losing that series 4-3. John Gonzalez, always appreciate the insight, man. And listen, the Pistons, they've been pretty good in home game 7s. As of late, 4-0 in home game 7s. They won all 4 games, by the way, by 15 or more points. We'll see if that trend continues against the Magic.